What's up, guys? Magic Mike here again, and please don't hate me for doing this video, but we gotta do Pirate Warrior. So, I'm pretty sure everyone on the whole planet knows every card in Pirate Warrior because we've played it so many times and we all hate it. But there's a difference between playing Pirate Warrior at a legend level, a rank 5 level, a rank 10 level, a rank 15 level, etc. Um, when Old Gods first came out, I went from I wasn't playing much when it or not Old Gods, oh God. When when Gadgets Inc. first came out, I wasn't playing a ton. Um and I remember I picked up Pirate Warrior and I went from rank 13 to rank 5 in 2.5 hours. I think I lost like 3 times maybe. I think I was like 20 and 3 or 20 something like that, something crazy. Because there's a way to play these decks right. I want to teach you guys how to play this deck right. Because although it's absolute cancer and I wish nobody ever played it again, there's a way to play it right. There's a way to play it wrong. So let's first start. The list is pretty it's pretty uh it's pretty refined. People pretty much figured out the proper list for Pirate Warrior. I think pretty much right now the only question mark maybe is Mortal Strike. Whether or not you run 2 Mortal Strikes or if you run 2 Naga Corsairs. I know Life Coach was adamant about running 2 Naga Corsairs because he said it's strictly better. And in a way, I mean, in theory, he's not wrong. I mean, it's a pirate. It's if it connects once to face, it's 5 damage instead of 4. It could connect multiple times. It upgrades your weapons, and if it's turn 4 and you have that card, it's not dead, whereas most of the time Mortal Strike is. So I do understand that. I personally like Mortal Strike because it gets around taunts. And like let's say you're playing an aggro shaman and you get him down to I don't know, you get him down to 6 health, and then he starts playing, 0 mana 5/5s, and he starts playing Feral Wolves, Taunt Totems. You just can't get by him. You can just kind of just chill till you get down to 12 health and then hit him with a Mortal Strike for the win. You don't really have to do anything. So I kind of like Mortal Strike. I can see going either way. They both definitely have merit. But the big part of this deck, as with Aggro Shaman, which people don't necessarily understand, is you need to trade. You need to protect your minions because if you're not trading, you're not going to win. Well, that's not true because it's Pirate Warrior. If you're not trading, you're not going to win as much because one if you protect your minions, they can hit multiple times. Everything hitting face once is not as valuable as 2/3 of your minions hitting face 2 or 3 times, right? So you want to make value trades. You want to make sure you get repetitive damage because you have the best 1-drop in the game with Buccaneer. And if that card can keep hitting, you will keep winning. Now, as long as I don't get a terrible hand, okay, so Mulligan. Deckhand, not terrible. But I don't think you keep it. Although you could go coin, axe, double deckhand. That's really, really weak to Phantom Knives. So I don't think we're gonna do that. I don't even think we keep deckhand. Maybe one. No, let's look for Buccaneer. We have axe, that's what we need. That's the main card we need. Anything else is just gravy. Oh my god, that's cheddar. That's all we can ask for. So, let's see what he plays. Swashbuckler. Does Patches come out? Of course not. Okay, so let's go ahead and oh my god, Just so many good cards. Let's go ahead and play this. Now, this is going here, obviously. And this is going face, obviously. Now the question is, do we want to coin out Buccaneer? I think the answer is yes. Because although on next turn we could coin this, one of these is going to die because of the weapon. So I think we coin out Buccaneer. If he has backstab, you know, it's tough luck. That's unfortunate. We hope he doesn't have backstab. But he did have backstab. It's unfortunate. But on the bright side, we have very strong turns coming up with War Axe. Oh my god, that's so strong. So we're going to go ahead and hit face with both of these because he's not going to die anytime soon. Might as well hit first with this before we play the War Axe. So next turn we can play double 1 mana Corsairs, which is, I mean, that's huge. That's not necessarily the play. That's not 100% the play. But that is the play we're going to go with. And we didn't attack with a weapon because there's not really any need to right now. We're not pressuring lethal or anything right now. So we're just going to go ahead and stick with this. We really want to hope he hero powers or something. He sapped it. We're really okay with that. That's really fun with us. That's one of the main reasons why we want to keep these weapon charges. There's just no need to rush them. Okay, so we can do this. We can do this. And we trade with this minion because if we leave it up, he can bump it and hero power it. Make it hard for him to clear your minions. You don't mind wasting a weapon charge on that. That's a good card. Let's see what we get. South Sea Captain. Do we trade? No, we don't. It's time to be a pirate warrior. It's time to go face. It's time to just yar matey all to the dome. All to the dome. So we could have traded. We could have done something like played second South Sea Captain, gone face with that, and then traded with one of the South Sea Captains on our weapon. But that's not great because for one, we want to keep the weapon to buff the Buccaneer, and two, we just need to start pressuring. There's only so much he can do here. So that was a fairly strong turn for him. But we can go ahead and do this, do this. So this goes face, this goes face. There's some merit to killing this. Like you want to kill this so you can protect these. But since Rogue doesn't play taunts, you just smack him in the face and armor up because there's nothing he can do. This wasn't necessarily the best example of how to trade, but that's how you win with this deck. You need to keep your minions alive. And as long as they can keep hitting again and again, like we had so many minions hit multiple times that's how you win. I mean that's what it is. It's not necessarily weapon damage, and it's not necessarily like okay, so at no what? We still win, but that was weird. So at no point in this whole game do we not have a weapon. That's because weapons are the most important thing as a pirate warrior. Always mulligan for weapons. You have to get weapons and you don't necessarily want to use them every single time you have one equipped. If you have maybe a backup, like let's say you have two War Axes, then yeah, swing through a War Axe every time. But you don't necessarily, you don't need to use your War Axes. You want to save them to trade. You want to save them for upgrades. You want to save them, to buff your Buccaneers, to reduce the cost of your Corsairs. You push the damage when it's there. You push it when you need to push it, when you're threatening lethal. Otherwise, there's no need to just rush damage if you don't have a backup weapon, because this is a weapon-based deck. If you don't have a weapon up, your deckhands, they don't have charge. Your Corsairs are too expensive. Your Buccaneers don't have the buff. Your cultists can't upgrade your weapons. Pretty much, you need to have a weapon equipped at all time. And if you're just flinging weapon face, that's wrong. You want that weapon for trading, and you want it for upgrading, and you want it for buffing your minions. So, I mean, I don't know if that goes without saying or not, but I've seen so many Pirate Warriors at lower ranks just equipping weapon, throwing it face, and that's not correct. The only time you want to throw it face, almost always, is when you equip the Arcanite Reaper. That needs to go face. That's almost always face. That's 10 damage, that's a third of their health. That's when it's time to put the push on. Yeah, and if we go back, another really important thing that I guess is worth mentioning, this deck runs Finley. Since this deck's super, super smorky, I think a lot of maybe lower level players would think that Hunter Hero Power is the best because it's damage. It's not. You still want to go with Warlock. You want to go with the tap because um, turn 1 through 5, I'd say, or ish around that, you're almost gonna always have something to play as a Power Warrior. So you're not really gonna be fitting in that hero power. The reason you change your hero power is in case they have that Reno on 6 and it's going to go to a late game. You're not going to beat him by doing 2 damage a turn with Hunter hero power. You have to have that tap to keep using to get new resources and keep pushing that damage over and over again. So you want to look for I'm not saying that Hunter hero power is bad, but Warlock is the best hero power almost always, unless maybe against a class like Rogue. Hunter hero power could be good because they have no heal, they have no Reno. But against a class that's just going to heal all the way back up, that extra 2 damage isn't necessarily relevant. So if that's a little nuance that's important to know, I'm glad that I can share that with you guys. That it's normally going to be Warlock except against Rogue. Against Rogue, Hunter's probably the best. That's probably the only case where that's the best. But yeah, that's about it for Power War. I mean, you guys have seen it, you guys have played it, you guys know what it is. But the main point of this video is to know that trading is very important. Keeping a weapon at all times is very important. And it's not all about throwing everything face. Except maybe if it's like Reno Lock or Reno Mage, then just throw it to the face. Just throw it in there. Alright, y'all, until next time.